Hey everybody, this is Minion Soldier and this is Ship Updates, and we actually have a big one. A big and far-reaching update that is going to change many of the ships that we fly in the Persistent universe, though only one ship in particular in the beginning. On Thursday, CIG outlined ship-to-ship docking. Now, we finally have an example of it in the Persistent universe. Though we've had the ship, we haven't had the capability of doing ship-to-ship docking, but not only ship-to-ship docking, but vehicles spawning attached to other vehicles. And that has broad implications across many different types of ship in Star Citizen. This is actually a very, very big deal. Now, of course, it is only coming in a Tier 0 implementation. This is basically the Connie making it work, and with that, a little bit of ship to space station docking via the new docking arms that we've been seeing over the last few months. I believe the two cases that they outlined were the 890 jump and the hammerhead. But specifically ship-to-ship docking, this is a really big deal because it's not just the Constellation that benefits from ship-to-ship docking. There's another ship that is a pretty extreme example of ship-to-ship docking. Now, the Caterpillar is fairly unique in it represents an example of 3 different types of ship-to-ship docking. Not only can it dock via the docking port located on the top of the ship, but the command module itself is actually a ship within a ship. The command module is designed to be able to break away from the main ship, so if the larger ship becomes disabled, it can serve as a lifeboat, or you can use it as an independent vessel to break away from the larger hull of the ship and fly that down to a location, then come back up, redock with the main ship, and then fly away as a single ship. So it's actually 2 ships in one. Beyond that, there is actually a third option, which is docking a ship within a ship. Within the Caterpillar itself, of course, you have the cargo bays, and the cargo bays all have doors opening in multiple directions, except for the forward one that only opens forward. But these cargo bays can contain space bikes or possibly smaller snub fighters. We're waiting to see. But one of the original packages when the Pirate Caterpillar came out, and this is what ended up being my core game package, came with 2 snubs, or not snubs, space bikes included in that package, so that you could actually at some point in the future spawn this ship with the 2 space bikes loaded within it, and then use those as independent vehicles that you could launch from the ship. So technically, with that package, with the 2 space bikes, the command module and the core module of the ship, you could have the core cargo version of the vessel that we have now. You could load multiple space bikes on it. I mean, whatever the max is, people will work that out in the future. Whatever the safe max is, let me emphasize that. But you also have a ship within a ship. You basically have the ship itself is, it's a ship that's actually 2 ships. Though being able to independently control the core module and the command module is a little bit up in the air, but who knows, CIG might implement something like that. But really what this opens up is there are so many ships in Star Citizen that, from the Cutlass all the way up to the Caterpillar and beyond, that can operate with a smaller vehicle or ship within it. One of the biggest problems has always been spawning that ship within a ship, or that vehicle within a ship, because sometimes you want to get a ground vehicle. Well, you can only spawn a ground vehicle on the ground, so you would have to fly down to the ground, get that vehicle, and then load it up into your ship. And sometimes that wasn't always practical, because once again, with the Caterpillar, you have the problem of non-functioning elevators around the ship, so you can't lower some of these vehicles down to the ground and then pick them back up again. So there was numerous inconveniences and numerous features that need to be implemented to get the full functionality out of this. But this opens up the door to implementing a lot of that functionality. It's basically the first working proof of concept of these ideas. So it's possible that depending on what work and what time is available to CIG, that we could see a next stage of full implementation going into the Caterpillar. Now, of course, there's the aforementioned elevators that are still not functional, and of course the cargo modules, which are supposed to be modular and swappable with other modules that we have yet to see implemented on the ship currently. But this opens up the door to a lot of these possibilities and says, okay, now that we've proven that it can be done, we now have kind of like a blueprint to follow to implement it on future ships. So while some people might look at this situation and say, oh, well, they're only doing one ship, so it's no big deal. The truth of it is that this basically opens up the door for so many other ships. And one of the biggest problems with Star Citizen is that often you'll hear people saying things like, oh, well, they've already delivered so many ships, so they're already so far ahead of the game, you shouldn't worry about it. But the elephant in the room has always been the fact that none of the ships in Star Citizen are truly feature complete yet. So realistically, though they have delivered a portion of that ship, they have not delivered the whole. And some ships like the Caterpillar, a large percentage of it is yet to be implemented in game. But this opens the door to let CIG do it, and it gives them kind of a roadmap or a blueprint to follow to get it done on future vessels. Now, of course, there's going to be unique challenges to each ship, and possibly some minor reworks that have to go in place to make it work. But now at least they have a map, not a very exact map, but a vague map on how to get there. Now, even if you set the docking thing aside, the ability to spawn a ship within a ship, that comes part and parcel with a lot of other features, because giving you the option to spawn your ship with another ship within it also opens up the possibility of spawning your ship with other things in it, like the possibility of being able to spawn your ship with the gun racks already filled, with food supplies already stored on your ship, armor stored in armor, lockers or whatever. This opens up the possibility for so many things. Now, once again, with some of these things, they are going to have to revisit these ship models and implement certain features or enable certain things, like the opening and closing of closets and the storage of these things within these ships. But once again, it opens up that door. It allows CIG, okay, now that we have this here, we have part of the puzzle finished, and now we just have to go in and rework on some of the individual ships to get these features implemented. But it's entirely possible that some of the major logistical challenges that we are going to face as players in the persistent universe in the future with physicalized inventory and no longer being able to simply magically pull weapons and armor out of our mobiGlas, but now having to store them, we will now have this on the back end, allowing us to simply enable the possibility of spawning all these things ready on our ships, so that instead of having to log in, go to the shop, get food, get water, then go load up all your armor out of a locker, you can basically say spawn all of this on my ship. Or possibly you could in the future have a set supply of food and water and medical supplies and grenades and ammunition and guns and all of that preset on your ship, and you could simply pick that preset and say, refill whatever is missing and load that on my ship again. And that, along with physicalized inventory in the future, is actually a very big deal. So it is indeed baby steps, but these with physicalized inventory on the horizon and this now being implemented, these two could actually match up very beautifully for helping deal with the logistical challenges that we are going to be facing in the not too distant future. So overall, for a lot of ships in Star Citizen, this could be a pretty big win, and something that, along with physicalized inventory, is going to be much needed in the future. So overall, while there was no real ship-specific updates beyond just the Connie being able to dock its snub fighter, there is a larger update that affects so many ships in Star Citizen that it really deserves notice. Anyways, that's the show for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and thanks for watching.
Thank you for watching. So if you want to keep up with the latest and greatest in Star Citizen and Squadron 42's development, please follow us on our social media channels. See you soon.